Hello, it's Ian, and today I just want to talk about why the results of the dance happened and why EVBox and Gholdengo got first and second. So, this I found was a little bit weird to me as there's zero Dragapult or Gardevoir in top 8, but I think there's one big reason why. People overreacted to Gardevoir's performance at Milwaukee, and as we saw his last 2 weekends, Gdan and Lil, Gardevoir didn't do very well. And I think the big reason why is, as I said, people overreacted, which means playing decks that are really built to beat Gardevoir, which has now actually shown to be incorrect, as we saw Eevee doing quite well because of that. So that's why Gholdengo ended up winning. Is Gholdengo is one of the decks that's better against Gardevoir, especially like the Frillish build, as if you're teching for it, the matchup is actually pretty solid. As we see here, Christian Fontenot's top 4 list with Alana's aid makes the matchup favored instead of being close to just unwinnable otherwise. So that's why we saw Gholdengo form so well, because also it's good against the counter meta, things like Zoroark, as Zoroark just isn't really playing things like Cornerstone anymore. So this deck just does very well in the Zoroark, because Zoroark needs to put more resources into other matchups to be favored into them. So it was just a really weird just counter meta overperforming is what happened. And the thing is that the counters people play like Gholdengo are very good into Dragapult, so that's why Dragapult didn't do very well. Is the counters that ended up performing very well is the ones that again do well Dragapult. So I do not take this as a thing to make like cause for concern for Dragapult or Gardevoir, as these tournaments are still very volatile, and the whole like format isn't really pictured just by who does the best, as it's just so volatile. If you're playing 12 to 13 rounds of Swiss, sometimes 14, and you hit all your best matchups as any deck, then a lot of your weaknesses don't appear. So a deck doing very well kind of can be sometimes confusing. It's really important to look into what they beat, as if they face matchups supposed to be bad and they beat them, then maybe the deck is better than what is thought by the community and players. So that's just something to keep in mind when looking at the results, is that it isn't that Gardevoir is really worse. It's just that the decks that did best was the counter meta. So that's not really a cause for concern. And I think that going forward into Vegas, I will say one note is that I think Jellicent Gardevoir is one that I'm a little more concerned about going forward, as if people are attacking Gholdengo for Gardevoir Jellicent, and other decks are doing very well. I just think that it's time to go away from Frillish and play a more aggressive build that's just trying to knock out Pokemon and prize race, as decks like this just aren't really built to combat that. That's all I have for today. Check out my other content. Check out my Metafy, which will be in the comments. And if you have any questions for me, feel free to ask me here or on Metafy or Twitter. And if you want to see more content, I'll have more coming out on Thursday. That is gameplay, and I'll talk more in depth on my thoughts on what I'll be playing for Vegas later next week. And I'll say I will be playing Gardevoir. Till next time, peace.